Good morning. My name is Laura Harp, and this coming from Rancho High School in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is going to be our fiscal plan for Rancho High School for the 2019-2020 school year. Okay. Let's talk about the goals of our fiscal plan. Basically, what we want to do is we want to set up our budget and how we plan to enact that, and what needs to happen for that to occur. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is establish our stakeholders. We're going to talk about our philosophy, the model we'll be using, the pros and cons, the purpose, handling how we're going to handle donations, control our costs. In the event of program expansion, how would we handle that? And additionally, our fundraising. Okay, so first off, let's identify our stakeholders. Our principal needs to be involved, our athletic administrator, as well as our activities administrator. We have two different APs for that. Our athletic director is a separate position, so they will need to be involved. All of our head coaches should be involved in this, and any club advisors as well. Okay, probably also important to add the banker so that they can discuss how those. They might not have to be involved in the initial meeting, but certainly when we have like procedures for all of that, that should be done. First meeting should be done in February of March of this past year, like of 2019. And that's going to discuss how we're going to plan this. And then it allows time for able to revise it and review and submit for approval. Okay, so the philosophy of our budget is going to be that we want to ensure equal opportunity to all of our students and athletes, and as well, any other people involved. We want to make sure we offer as many opportunities as possible, as long as qualified staff allows. We want to follow our Nevada state rules. We want to follow the national rules for high schools, and we want to follow our Clark County School District rules for all of this. Okay, so I feel that the best budget model for Rancho High School would be incremental budget. Okay, so the incremental budget allows for an increase or a decrease of the budget from the previous year. There's some pros and cons to this. It certainly is helpful for our case, and we'll review why. Okay, so certainly some of our positives of this, it allows for pretty consistent from year to year. Okay, there's some flexibility between the sports. So let's say if when revenues are somewhat predictable, we can kind of see if you're coaching over the number of years, you can understand what your budget's going to be. The nice thing though is that it does allow, if there needs to be a bigger budget item for a sport, let's say they need to purchase new equipment or update something, we can pull from other sports a little bit just for that year to allow that to happen. Okay. When additional allocations are possible. And that's what I was saying, is that we can allow for that upgrade to happen when more funds come into play. What's important for us is it doesn't rely on our boosters or our community support. Las Vegas doesn't have a ton of community support across all high schools. In some of our private schools, there is a ton of support, a lot of booster money, a lot of funding going towards that. And some of our smaller schools, or we'll say a little more affluent neighborhoods, we certainly don't have as much community support. And so it's nice to not have to rely on that, because it's certainly, sometimes it's non-existent, and it certainly isn't consistent. Okay. Purpose of this model is obviously, like we mentioned before, to ensure equal opportunity, and to make sure a big thing is that we have proper documentation of the budget, all of these meetings, the funds that are going to be allocated, how, if any funds are raised, what that looks like, making sure that it's demonstrating Title IX equality and compliance over the given time. Okay, so if they ask, have you been following Title IX for the last 10 years, we can show that. Okay, it's important to discuss in these meetings how we would handle donations. Okay, it's important that Rancho High School certainly follow all Clark County School District policies regarding these allocations. And principal and the AA will meet with the district officials to ensure compliance with Title IX and policies in the event of a donation. Okay, we certainly need to control our costs. So all spending needs to be approved by the athletic administrator. Okay, we go through certain documenting. When you have a purchase request, you have to fill out a paperwork, get proper signatures, and then submit to make sure there's enough money in that budget. Okay, once the budget has gone through review, like I said, the submission, approval, spending is monitored by the administrator. And it's their responsibility to know the budget and each constraint of each activity. Okay. In the event of a program expansion, there's certain things that need to happen before that can occur. One is there needs to be a demonstrated interest by the student population. Okay, that's typically done by like an interest form. So it'll get sent out to maybe the male athletes or the female athletes, depending on the sport, and it'll talk about, there's this many kids involved or would try out for that sport. The school needs to have facility availability. And so if the gym is already being taken up, like we can't add a winter sport into the gym because we already have 6 teams of basketball going during that season. Okay. So you have to make sure that that is available. There needs to be somebody available that could coach and lead that team. We can't necessarily, add lacrosse when there's nobody on campus that knows anything about lacrosse. And so we need to hire and make sure we have somebody there that's available. Make sure if we're adding a sport that it has Title IX, application, that we need to make sure that this is fair and we're providing equal opportunity for all of our student athletes. Both the state and the state association and the competitions will have to be established, right? We have to make sure that we're getting Clark County School District and NIA involved to get this available in a lot of schools, and obviously follow any district procedure. Last, we got to talk about fundraising. Okay, so with the incremental model, fundraising is left to the programs. And these have to go through approved programs through the district. Okay, so typically like an approved vendor list is provided, and that means we can go through and we can sell items available from this vendor, and then obviously there'll be some kickback to the school. Okay, examples are car washes, selling items. Just make sure the administration approves of it. Okay. Additionally, a school banker needs to also improve and monitor all those funds being raised. They should be able to provide like a printout every month of what the funds look like in that program. And what's important about fundraising is that these benefit the program directly that did the fundraising. They don't have to get split across. And so that is nice for teams. For basketball, we do a lot of, we sell concessions during basketball games. And then we keep all of the profits from that. So. Okay. This concludes my budget plan for Rancho High School. Thank you very much.